Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 4 of English 124, writing about literature. So, this week we're going to continue our unit on short fiction, and we're focusing a little bit more on setting and theme. So, last time we had stories that really featured interesting narrative points of view, and the week before that, we looked at characterization and conflict and plot, but I wanted to give you guys a few stories that were a little bit older. They have very interesting settings and they have really significant themes that I think are relevant today. So the first story is called Luck of Roaring Camp. Luck is the name of a baby who is born into Roaring Camp, which is a mining camp during the gold rush in the 1800s. So we have a scene that's set up kind of meant to be like a Western version of the Nativity, with a woman who is unmarried. Here she's a prostitute named Cherokee Sal, and she's giving birth to a baby. She dies, and the baby is taken in by the men of the camp. And basically, it's kind of a story that depicts that saying, it takes a village to raise a child. All of these men are raising this baby in a really interesting, unconventional way. And it kind of changes them and affects them, and we see the softer side of these very rough miners who are really there to prospect and to try to find gold and all of that. The second story is by the same author, Bret Harte, and it's called Tennessee's Partner. And there we have two men, again, set in the Old West, the 1860s, westward expansion after the Civil War, as people were out in Nevada and California and Colorado and all those places. So Tennessee and his partner are quite close, and they're two men where basically it doesn't seem that there's romantic connection between them, but they really have become each other's family and they're best friends. And in some ways, it's almost like a romance between them, although there doesn't seem to be anything sexual, at least not on the page. Some people have interpreted that way. But the important thing really, again, is the setting of the Old West and the way that people are away from the families that they were born in. And you have kind of these characters of cowboys and prospectors and miners and men who would really be thought of as like hyper masculine and really rough and tumble. And yet, like with Luck of Roaring Camp, we see the softer side of these two men and how they have come to care for each other. This week I have lectures for you that are not from me, just to change things up a little bit. I found this lecture about the Luck of Roaring Camp, and the professor who does that really is a scholar specializing in literature of this time period and in Bret Harte specifically, and they had really interesting things to say, so I wanted to share that with you. And then I found this great video from the San Francisco Historical Society about Bret Harte and how he matters and how his work really represented this particular time in American history. So that I really recommend, but it is optional. And then you'll be doing a journal where you, again, make some arguments about these two stories. So building off of the literary elements and devices that you learned about the last few weeks, and how to write an argument that you learned about week 1, this time you'll be looking at these two stories. So I hope that you enjoy them, and I look forward to reading your thoughts. Thanks, everybody.